Sarah, what were you particularly worried about your children seeing online? How old are your kids, and what were you afraid they would access?
My girls are 16 and 12. So, and in my experience and our research, a lot of children accidentally come across pornography. So, yeah, that was my fear.
Do you know if your kids had?
They haven't. Yeah, we've had that discussion and they haven't. They've seen adverts come up when they've been searching online, but they haven't actually gone out and...
The problem, isn't it, Anita, is it's so easy to access. Yeah. I mean, for everybody. It's like you could just click on your computer and all sorts of stuff comes up. And a lot of it is, I would imagine, very bad stuff for a young, impressionable, early teen mind, perhaps, to be taking in. So my first reaction when I heard about this was, oh, this is all a bit of a gimmick. My second reaction, actually, as a parent was, this is actually a really interesting move. I haven't seen the film, so I don't know quite how it played out. But tell me about your motivation for this.
For me, being a mother of boys, it was important for me to... And I've already had those conversations with my sons, my elder sons, so it wasn't so much about teaching them, it was about spreading that message to everybody and understanding that we need to change the narrative for young people to understand it's not an educational tool, and for parents to recognise that we need to be aware and available to have the conversations.
Sarah, your concern is that a lot of the pornography that's online is what? Unpleasant, dangerous, violent?
Yeah, 95% of it is violent towards women. There's this toxic masculinity. You know, guys have to behave in a certain way.
Is that true? 95% of porn online is violent towards women?
88% of the porn, of the most seen videos portray violence.
Isn't the issue here, Emma, though, I mean, the reality is it's aimed at an adult audience, pornography, right? There are much more regulations now about what can be actually put online. And, in fact, the government here is bringing in even tougher regulations now to stop underage people accessing it, which is, I think, the right thing to do. So it's aimed at an adult audience, and consenting adults, I guess, should be allowed to watch any legal material that they wish to see. Absolutely. That's not the issue here. The issue here is that it's so easily accessible by underage people. And that's an issue that I, as a parent, have, is that that's the problem, and that presumably is what motivated you with this film.
Absolutely. I think it's like 50% of all kids between 11 and 16 will probably have viewed explicit online sexual content, and that felt like an important sort of sea change in behaviour. Because
it gives them a warped idea of what sex is about, doesn't it? Because the stuff in those movies is, you know, although you're right about the tone of them, actually, you see in women's magazines, a lot of women watch that stuff and enjoy watching it. So, but they're adults. And
they make a choice, and I think it's the pervasiveness.
Kids, I think, can get warped and twisted ideas about what sex should be about.
And you wanted mums who felt like the people who cared most about their kids would want to sort of do something positive and give them the tools, and they can have different messages in the film that they made that look at consent and pleasure, you know, and kissing and cuddling and pleasant things, as well as the hardcore sex.
What is the content of the mum-made porn?
It's showing real sex, real bodies, real people. It shows the lead-up, the build-up, what it takes to begin those relationships, where it's communication, it's kissing, it's connection. And then, yes, it does show sex.
And what is the idea? Is it that you would show it to your own children? I know you have an adult son, don't you?
He's 25. Yes.
So would you sit down and watch this with him?
No, it's not something that we'd sit down and do together and be
No, I don't mean... No, I don't mean... I mean in terms of a screening. Have you made this in order that you will at some point sit down with Channel 4 and say, this is what we've made
we did
for
actually
you?
show it to an
we
audience.
had a screening, but it's down to the individual. I've got very individual young people who, one of them would have chosen if he was old enough to be present, and the other one that was old enough chose not to be present. That's his choice, and that's the whole thing. It's being able to have that choice, and the choice being available to them.
Has it had a classification, this film?
Yes.
And what is it?
It's an 18R, which means it complies with all the rules of what...
But does that mean under 18 can watch it?
No, it means over 18.
So I would say there's a slight flaw here in the sense that probably the people that need to see this who might be underage viewing this stuff actually are not legally allowed to watch it.
I think it's a trickle-down effect, though.
And I do think that actually if parents are getting involved in this process and they're watching it and seeing that as other parents we are advocating this, they will watch it and they will be able to help better inform their young people in their lives. And I think that's the important message we're trying to get across.
The trouble is, I mean, as Piers says, young people will already have seen a lot of porn online. The classification means they can't watch this. And the fact that you've made this, you know, with all the noble intentions about showing real relationships, does not eliminate all the other
But it's
porn
also
that's
part
online.
of a three-part documentary series where you see a lot of those issues being raised and you see a lot of the content. We show, you know, the shooting of the film and you can see, you know, Ofcom regulated aspects of how that works.
Honestly, I think it's a great idea. I do. I just think it's something that every parent will be watching this going, you know what, this is a problem that I feel a little bit awkward about confronting. You don't really want to think of your kids watching this stuff, and yet the reality is it's all one click away on their computers. And kids are way ahead of their parents in accessing anything they want to access. So I think it's a good thing to do, and I think, good on you.
Wow.
Keep
And
spreading the message.
Was it awkward when because you were involved in the making of it, obviously not involved in it, but was it awkward watching, making, directing, coming up with the ideas? I mean, you know, we're still a bit squeamish about talking about it openly.
I think by the time we got to that stage, we had been... We were so learned that actually we got to that stage. It was quite mild by the time we actually did it ourselves, so
It was very professional, how we did it, and so,
We just got to work and we knew what our message we wanted to put out
Good.
there.
Well, I think it's a good thing. And I'm glad you come on to talk about it. And
When's the programme on?
It's on tonight at 10 p.m. on Channel 4 and it's on for 3 weeks, so
OK.
come and watch it.
Tune in and learn something.